Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So earlier this month, veterans of the Christian hair metal scene Stryper had a show at the Legendary Whisky A Go-Go, right there on the Sunset Strip, or at least what's left of it. And wouldn't you know it, 30 minutes before taking the stage, the area was hit with a power outage. So what did they do? Did they make their exodus from the venue and reschedule for a later date? No, they played on using cute little battery-powered amps. To me, this must be a sign that Stryper should do an acoustic album. In fact, if they do one, you could say that this show was the genesis of that concept. Alright, so I have an article up here on guitar.com with all the details of what went down and some reactions from the band. So let's check this out, but of course, as always, I'm going to have a link to the original article here down in the video description below. But real quick, guys, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new guitars and also staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this article here from guitar.com. Here is the headline: Stryper performs a set using battery-powered amps after power outage. Well, that was a first. The article starts off here. Stryper performed a set last Saturday, that was the 5th of November, using battery-powered amps due to a loss of power. The concert at the Whisky A Go-Go in West Hollywood, California was without power 30 minutes before the American metal band were supposed to go on stage. It meant the band had to make do with 2 battery-powered amps, a snare drum, and 3 members singing a cappella. The band's frontman, Michael Sweet, shared a post to social media the following day explaining the incident. He wrote, "Well, that was a first. The power went out on Sunset last night, 30 minutes before our set, and we went on at the Whisky A Go-Go stage and rocked with 2 battery-powered practice amps, 1 snare drum, and 3 a cappella vocals to a second night sold-out crowd. You can't stop the rock." He then goes on here and explains the power came back on 30 minutes after our set. What an amazing night, and we love you all. It was one for the books. Quote, "The light always shines in the dark." The Christian metal band Stryper was formed in 1983 under the name Rock's Regime, becoming the first outwardly Christian heavy metal group to reach mainstream success. They changed their name to Stryper by the time they signed with Enigma Records and released their debut, The Yellow and Black Attack, in 1984. The band consists of Michael Sweet on lead vocals and guitar, guitarist Oz Fox, bassist Perry Richardson, and drummer Robert Sweet, who is, of course, the brother of Michael Sweet. And now look at this. They even have a video clip here of them performing with no power. Although there's some lights on there in the venue, so I don't know, maybe they had some battery-powered lights or backup power in the venue, but not enough to run the PA and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'll go ahead and, I'm going to have a link to the article, so if you want to watch this video, just go check out the article or just go on YouTube and you can watch that clip there. Now, just on a side note here, Stryper has released a new album recently. I mean, I imagine these shows were in support of the new album called The Final Battle. I've heard the album. It's really, really good. I mean, I would have to say it's one of the better albums of their career. You could even say it's sort of a resurrection for the band. Now, the other interesting thing about all this is that night, Jeff Beck had a show also in the Los Angeles area, but the power stayed on for that show. You could say that the power outage passed over that show. Now, the other sort of elephant in the room here is the power outage itself. Los Angeles, unfortunately, and much of California has been having power grid issues lately. We've been getting these text messages where it says, like, please conserve energy, this kind of stuff. Like, they're having issues where they're getting up towards the limit of the power that people can use compared to how much power the grid can supply. And so they've been sending out all these warnings and, asking for a voluntary reduction of power usage and that kind of stuff. One of the problems is that when they're up, my understanding of this is that when they're up towards the limit of what the grid can supply, it makes it very fragile. So if something goes wrong, you know, can be this chain reaction and cause a lot of other problems. It's not as robust when it comes to things going wrong with the power grid. Now, obviously, Stryper, I mean, these guys are pros. They've been around forever. So problems like this, I mean, they can sort of just take this in stride. And I mean, they even, you know, they're making some headlines unintentionally because of this performance. But obviously, props to them for going ahead and, you know, having that the show must go on attitude with this. Because if you can imagine, if this was like a pop concert or, you know, hip hop or something like that, where the performance is based entirely off of playback and, you know, the electrical supply, then they wouldn't have, you know, I'm sure a show like that would have been canceled. But, you know, a show where you're actually playing instruments and you've got a live drummer and that kind of stuff, I mean, you can still sort of perform a pseudo acoustic set, and that's what they did here. But what do you guys think about all of this stuff? And in particular, have you ever gone to a show where the power got shut off for whatever reason during the performance? I can't say that I have ever experienced that where the power overall got turned off. I was at a Man-O-War show one time where they blew the PA and had to stop the show and dink around backstage and get things fixed before they could continue. I mean, it wasn't that the power was shut off, it's just that they blew up some of the equipment, which, from my understanding, is typical of Man-O-War shows. But if you guys have ever experienced something where the power went off during the show, let us know down in the comments section below. And when it comes to a Stryper acoustic album, I think that actually would be pretty cool. They've certainly done a lot of acoustic performances, and sometimes I think Michael Sweet does solo shows where he does acoustic renditions of the Stryper songs and that kind of stuff. But an all-acoustic studio album, you know, of sort of like greatest hits or something like that, that would actually be pretty cool. And of course, if they do that, then I could say that I'm a prophet. Okay, guys, that is it for me. Thanks a ton for watching. Let me know what you think of all of this stuff down in the comment section below. And of course, in the video description, I'm going to have a link for this original article from guitar.com and maybe a link for the new Stryper album as well. Okay, guys, thanks a ton for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon.